welcome to my studio. How do you like it? I always ask everyone this, but so I have to ask you as well.
Well, it's a very impressive mobile setup here with some
Cool.
cutting-edge technologies. Very impressive.
And for a busy man like you who's in high demand now because it being tax season, I can come to you and we can drive to Melville and we can kill two birds with one stone.
Sure.
How important is the city of Johannesburg when it comes to revenue collection in terms of its contribution? We know GDP contribution of Gauteng is somewhere around, 35%?
I think both the province and the city are very key strategic pillars of our revenue base, given that probably the overwhelming majority of our multinationals doing business in South Africa and the big corporates are listed on the JSE would be based here. So from a revenue perspective, very important. And obviously Johannesburg, Pretoria, which is growing over the past decade into one big, huge metro, has a great number of residents, individuals, and people come here looking for work opportunities. So people who work here contribute to personal income taxes. Many of the country's biggest corporates are here from a corporate income tax perspective. So very important. And as we've seen through the tax system and public money, very key infrastructure projects have been implemented and laid out here, the Gautrain being very important. And the one so many of the residents of the city despises, e-tolling.
Yeah, but we have the best road infrastructure in Gauteng.
It's a brilliant road infrastructure. And I've seen, the last week we've seen announcements by the Passenger Rail PRASA, Association of South Africa, making substantial investments into rail infrastructure together with Transnet. So those public investment programs are very important. It's very important for big metros like Johannesburg and the province, and it is made possible through the money we collect through the tax system. That is the ultimate reality. So a big portion of these mega projects are funded through the tax system, and of course the rest would be done through borrowing by parastatals or the institutions who are responsible for implementing them.
Yeah, and these projects are very important as well because the city is poised to become a global city region. That is what we're working at. So it's important to attract investment, to put money into these projects, attract investments, etc. What is the level of compliance coming through from the city of Johannesburg? Is there strong compliance on the part of taxpayers?
We don't have specific breakdowns of a tax base for Johannesburg per se, because there may be some distortions in such a breakdown, because you would find a mining company listed on the JSE, but its actual operations are in Northwest if it's in platinum, in KZN or Limpopo if it's in coal. So there may be distortions if we do it that way.
But generally, level of compliance is quite strong, and you've certainly increased your revenue collection over the last couple of years through initiatives that SARS has put forward. What are some of the most fundamental initiatives that have contributed to tax revenue contribution? Collection, rather, sorry.
Our approach to compliance has three pillars. We want to demonstrate to people that if you want to comply with the law, we will provide you with an efficient, easy, technology-based system that takes the difficulty and the complexity for the individual out of the process. Because we assume you want to comply. We want to make it as easy for you to comply, and we will help you wherever you need help. Secondly, given the South African context and the education challenges, we need an education component. So we need to make people aware. We need to inform them who must pay tax, who's not required to submit a return, and what the channels are available to them. And then thirdly, we must demonstrate to the public, if you have 10 people paying tax on time and observing their legal obligations, and 5 other people make no effort to submit a tax return to pay tax on the income that they earn, we have the ability on the enforcement side to prosecute them and to make sure that they are either penalized or prosecuted, and that there's some recourse for non-compliance.
Sure.
So those three pillars we follow, and what we've seen is that through improved service, the use of automation and technology like e-filing that we've developed to make it easier, a combination of those three, the number of returns we get every year improves, and that's an indication to us that the levels of compliance is improving in the country.
Yeah, and if you look on your website, that information is all there, available to consumers in a very easy, understandable manner. Because I mean, I went on your website and I saw all of it there. I would say that for me, that the online way of submitting tax returns, that was the best thing you came up with.
It is. It took some time to develop. We introduced e-filing to businesses back in 2003. By 2007, we were able to extend it to individuals. And you must make sure that there's security in the system, that because in terms of the law, the information of the taxpayer is confidential. And there are risks if it leaks out. I mean, we deal with people's banking information,
Sure.
how much money they earn, where they live, their cell phone numbers. So we had to make sure that the system is secure, that we are able to reduce the administrative requirements that was previously there on the paper returns. And those income tax returns on paper used to be about 10 pages long.
Yeah. Talking about security, what role is SARS playing to assist taxpayers who have become victims of those 911 scams?
We can only warn the public. If we can trace people and register criminal charges and prosecute through the National Prosecuting Authority, we would. But the main issue is that cybercrime is difficult to police because it moves so quickly. You can't always trace the responsible parties behind the syndicate. So we put those examples on our website and we tell people, if you get a suspicious email, please call our call center to verify and check whether this is actually from SARS. We will never ask for your banking information on email, on text message on the cell phone, or any obscure call. If we need to change your banking details, you must come to the branch in person with the ID so we can verify you are who you say. Don't click on links. If people promise you money for submitting your tax return, rather refer them away.
Yeah, I received one of those emails. They're quite convincing. It takes you straight to your bank's website, which is even more convincing because SARS will have information like that, who you bank with.
So under no circumstance must people disclose such information. It opens up a door where people can access vital personal information of the individual. And then once they've got access to your ID number, your bank account, they can actually take money or commit fraud in your name. So it's very important that people are very conscious about who they use, who they talk to, and what information they provide to which people.